Thank you for listening to this Belly Up Sports Podcast Network product. Some said we go belly up, so we made it our name, and we're still here.
From roommates to co-hosts, this is the Backcheck with Brendan Azoff and Stefan Rosner, your go-to destination for New York hockey and NHL news. And now it's time to drop the puck. Here are your hosts, Brendan Azoff and Stefan Rosner.
What's up, guys? For this edition of the Backcheck, Brendan and me are actually in person together for the first time, so this is an absolute awesome thing. We're doing a little Islanders pregame show. I want to thank Belly Up Sports for letting us do this. Thanks to our sponsors, 44 Vision Hockey, Long Island Hockey Co., Ultranite, and SUNY Cortland Sport Management. Today on the show, at 1:10, Kim Islesgrove comes on. Pat Dowd, Islanders sign guy at 1:25, and then James Nichols, editor-in-chief of Isles Blog, is on at 1:45. Brendan, we're both going to the game today.
We are. You excited?
I am so excited. 9,000 people are going to pack the Coliseum. If it's not loud, serious problem. Puck drop, though, is at 6:30 instead of 7, so plan accordingly. But, Brendan, is this your first Islander playoff game?
This is my first Islanders playoff game. I think I'm actually more excited about the amount of people that are going to be in attendance than I am about going to the game itself.
No, yeah. I mean, I went the other day. It wasn't nearly as packed as 9,000, but it's going to be a heck of a day. Bring your wallet because everything's going to be ultra expensive. What, a beer's like $16, $17.
Hey, they opened it up too, right? There was no beers being sold during the regular season. So they knew I was coming. That's what
they knew you were coming. You're going to have about 3 or 4 of them. But no, guys, I mean, look at what the Islanders did last game. Brutal performance, except Ilya Sorokin, who stopped 40-50. Islanders found a way to get this to double overtime. And then Josh Bailey, who has ice in his veins, especially against the Penguins, gets the job done. And Brendan, we saw Jari make a big mistake. He said, they talked. He said that he's okay going into this game. He's very easygoing. He just has to do better. What do you got to see from Jari tonight?
No pucks up the middle, probably.
He probably shouldn't play the puck.
That would be a start for him, but he kind of cheated to the glove side. So now I would expect the Islanders to maybe try a couple of blockers, see if that will work, because now they're up in the series, right? And we know that the fans are going to be loud. Like, I'm excited to go to the Coliseum during a playoff game, see what it's like. I've been there during Rangers-Islanders games, and that atmosphere is crazy, so I can only imagine what it's like when stakes are a little higher. So I expect the crowd to fully get on him, and he might say he's okay and that he's level-headed. I don't know. When you have a turnover like that costs your team a game, and now you have to go on the road to stave off elimination, that's not sitting well with you. So we will see.
No gaffes today. That's the word of the day, gaff. Because apparently it wasn't used since like the 1800s, but now every writer is using the word. Major gaff by Jari, and for sure he's going to get his Jari. I mean, there were so many chances that every time he not even touched the puck, just on the rink the whole entire time. We have to wish a happy birthday, though, to Matt Barzal, turns 24 today. Oh. And what a day to have a birthday, because Matt Barzal has gotten better as this series has gone on, but still we haven't seen Matt Barzal do his thing just yet. On his birthday?
Maybe. I mean, I didn't know it was his birthday. I already threw my prop bets of who's going to score, so you could have told me that like an hour
ago. All right, so
ago.
Who do you have to score first?
JG Padgeau. I figured it's fitting if he scores because of what he did to the Rangers when they were in the playoffs, and now that I'm going to the game, I just have a weird feeling he's going to score, plus 275. I'd book that. Speaking
of Padgeau, he may have a new line mate tonight as Wahlstrom is banged up. We'll talk more about that with James Nichols coming up around 1:45. But it was crazy. So you think about who's going to go in. Now it's going to be Travis Zajac if he's unable to go, right? It's going to be Zajac. And you look at this line, and they're all deadline acquisitions, all trade deadline acquisitions. And, it's just, you look at it, so the trade deadline. Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second, guys. Brandon had to quickly go to work there as he got a call, but we'll go through it. So Wahlstrom probably won't play tonight. He got his head snapped back on a play by Matheson, and I mean we could go over what Matheson has done to the Islanders over the last calendar year. Knocked out Boychuk, high stick to Brock Nelson. What else did he do? Took Wahlstrom out, hit Barzal from behind. He did knock out the Panthers, though, during the qualifying series, as he was in the box all the time, and it really hurt their team's chances. But a few stats before Kim joins us. So I went back and looked at every goal the Islanders scored this series. 13 of the 16 goals the Islanders scored went to Jari's glove side. Now, I'm not saying that every goal that was scored went high glove side. Just saying that every goal that was scored went to that area of the rink. And in game 4, bad bounces for Jari. Game 5, I mean, it was tough. Jari's had a tough series, but again, it comes down to the Penguins are going to be a desperate team. We saw in game 5 how lethal they could be. They just couldn't score. Sorokin was on his game. When you have a goalie that's on his game like that, it's going to be very tough to score. But they had their chances, and the Islanders can't go through this game like they did last game. And then that was on the road. We saw how dominant they were at home. So you look at this series, and this is the biggest moment for the fan base, too. The Islanders have not clinched a playoff series on home ice since, I think, 1993. That was a very long time ago. Like a very long time ago. Before my time, obviously, I'm born in 1998. I'm a youngster, but this is big for the Islanders organization. If they could seal the deal tonight, and I think they will, unbiased opinion. I think, the Penguins put in a lot of effort last game, and, they worked really hard and didn't get the win for a game they really should have won. And that's very demoralizing for a team. And I mean, we talk about momentum, and the Islanders have struggled to carry momentum over. But if you can't carry momentum over from a win at home, then you go on the road and survive and win in double OT, thanks to Josh Bailey. If you can't carry the momentum over to today's game, that's an issue. Barry Trotz talked about it. Leo Komarov talked about how the crowd's going to have to be there. Komarov hoped the crowd would be loud. There's no hope needed. No hope needed at all. The crowd is going to be absolutely livid and crazy and hectic, and it's going to be awesome. I know we're going to get orange T-shirts there. I will be at the game, me and Brendan, and we'll be sitting in section 207. So anyone that wants to come say hi, buy us a beer. Just kidding. You can buy our own beers, but it is expensive, guys. So, yeah. So another stat, Eberle is on a 2-game goal streak. And you look at the Islanders' top line, everyone complains about Komarov, right? Komarov doesn't fit there, and he's made some great plays defensively, lays the body. But there are times when Barzal or Eberle feeds him in the slot or feeds him and he can't get the puck on net, or he gets a weak shot on net. I know there was one time a couple of games ago, Komarov had a prime chance to shoot high glove side, and he shot it in Jari's chest. But that's what you're going to get out of Komarov. He's not a goal scorer. He's never been a goal scorer. He's good at what he does, and it's not his fault he's on the top line. But the big key was also that Jordan Eberle was MIA. Jordan Eberle was doing absolutely nothing. And then it was pretty much Barzal versus the other team, and Barzal was trying too hard. There were times where he's trying to deke and dangle, and guess what? The puck comes off his stick. And for Eberle to have goals in back-to-back games, that's a major confidence booster for Eberle. If you look back to last postseason, he scored in the first game against the Caps, and then didn't score again until the first game against the Lightning series. That's 2 series later. As a goal scorer, a top-line goal scorer, you can't have that gap of scoring or being an effective player. Now, Eberle could build off what he's done, back-to-back games with goals, but you don't need a goal from him tonight. You need the hard work. This is a game where the Islanders get a lead early, what they should, and they play dominant defense. We saw back in the Game 7 against the Flyers last year, 4-0 win. Islanders scored early, held down the fort. Grice was great, but the defense was great as well. That is the type of game that we need to see from the Islanders tonight, because the Penguins are going to push. Their backs are against the wall. They lose, they go home. They're going to leave everything on the table. It's going to be chippy. It's going to be physical. The biggest thing for the Islanders is to keep their feet moving. The Penguins, especially Malkin, talked about how they can't take that many penalties. And while the Islanders' power play is not great, it's looked better, but at the end of the day, it's not an upper echelon power play unit by any means. But again, the Penguins are desperate. They're going to try to get away with things. They're going to try to cheat to get to the pucks. They're going to do all that kind of stuff. If the Islanders can move their feet, they will generate power plays. And let's say the Islanders don't score on those power plays. That's 2 minutes that is going to come off the clock regardless. You don't have to score. This whole game is going to be a boring game for the Islanders if they could get a lead, because they're going to have to dump and chase and play hard forecheck and control the neutral zone and make the smart plays. There's no rush if the Islanders get a lead. The problem is they have to score first. We know their stats. I'm not going to go over their stats. We already know how lethal they are when they light the lamp first in the game. We know how lethal they are then when they're leading after 2 periods of play. And I think Sorokin today is going to be tested. He's going to be tested. There's going to be a lot of shots towards him early and often, and he shouldn't have to be as good as he was last game, because he bailed the Islanders out immensely. They again, no business winning that game, but that's hockey, right? Teams that don't always expect to win games. They had Islanders had probably 3 chances that game to score, and they scored on all 3 chances. You had Bavile with the sick play, Josh Bailey in overtime. Those are nice goals to have, and for Bailey too, like we said, ice in his veins, big games. He talked about his chant. He loves the chant now, and it's funny because when that chant started, the "Hey Josh Bailey" chant, it was mocking him for his lack of production. Now the production's great. So it is 1:10, and Kim is here to join us. Kim, how are you doing today?
Hey, what's up?
So the first thing I do want to ask you is, how's your voice from the other night? Because I saw the highlight of you screaming on Bailey's goal, and yeah, you gave us a warning that it was going to be loud. I don't think anyone expected it to be that loud. So how you feeling?
I'm actually okay. I think my voice has gotten so used to screaming with this team, especially with the ECF and 2019. I think my voice has just gotten used to me destroying it every single game. My mom, not so lucky.
Your mom's voice is gone?
Oh, after the game 4 at Nassau Coliseum, she did not have a voice for 3 days. Where she's a teacher and she went to school, and her kids were even like, "What happened to your voice?"
So I saw that you're bringing your dad to his first ever playoff game, and I went with my dad to his first ever Ranger Islander game. My first game at the Coliseum, Ranger Islanders, and it's a huge moment. So, what are you hoping to bond with your dad today? It's a big moment for you guys because I know how big of an Islander fan base family you guys are.
Yeah, it's funny because everyone's like, that's not possible. But really, my hockey love comes through my mom's side. And my dad kind of got more into it, being married to my mom and things like that. And when it came down to ticket priorities, it's like it was always my mom's side, my mom and I, things like that going because we're the, like, I don't want to say like bigger hockey fans. He's a huge Islanders fan. But he always like put us ahead of himself. And this is the first time, because I said, Dad, do you want to go with me? Because Mom already went to one. Like, I got tickets to go. And he was like, really? He was like, this is going to be my first ever playoff game. And I was like, what? Like, even I didn't know if that was a thing. But, yeah, it's a huge moment. Like, I'm hoping for him to experience it, like that playoff crowd, because regular season has nothing on a hockey playoff crowd. And so I want him to experience just every single moment of excitement and hopefully – bringing home the bacon today.
Yeah, so you speak about the crowd. 9,000 people are going to pack the Coliseum. What do you think? I mean, you've been to the playoff games before, but what do you think this environment's going to be like tonight?
9,000 now instead of 6. It's so funny because, we start off like 1,300 or like 1,400. And it's just like I've been there for each time it's been pegged up. And if you go to Game 4 highlights, I mean, it was half capacity. Less than half capacity, and it sounded like full. So I just can't even comprehend what 9,000 now is going to sound like. Because if half capacity felt like it was full, what is now like a quarter of that more adding on to that? How is that going to, like that? I remember 2018-19 against the Penguins. I remember that atmosphere. And like, it's still, and like, it's so funny because now it felt like that same atmosphere with half the crowd. So I think Islanders fans are truly bringing it right now to give you a full experience in that Coliseum.
I mean, the parking lot right now is probably loud as heck right now because everyone's tailgating and doing all that stuff.
Barry Trotz said 1 o'clock.
We're doing this. We're warming up our voices here, of course. We'll definitely be drinking and doing some stuff after this. But so I obviously we got your reaction with Bailey scoring, but I want to take you back to regulation time and seeing the display of Sorokin's skill set. How nerve-wracking was it every time the Penguins got on a shot for you? You were probably on the edge of your seat the whole entire time, like all of us.
Any game where we've tied it up, honestly, here's the thing that scared me the most. Before Game 5, every game the Islanders scored first, we won. Every game the Penguins scored first, they won. And it was always, we couldn't do that chase game. Yeah. So going into this last game, the Penguins scoring first, I was like, oh, no. Like, from the first period, I was like, they scored first. I was like, oh, God, oh, no. Beauvillier, though, comes through with like 50 seconds left.
That was big.
Big. I think that's really what changed the whole script of the game, is that we were able to even it up again. Obviously, Penguins come back, score another, and then we're like, oh, we're in the same situation. But luckily, Eberle was right there in front, nets that big one. But the important thing is we didn't let it up like 20 seconds after. And I think that, you're talking about Sorokin's play. The best thing that we could say about Sorokin right now is how dialed in he is on net, how much he wants to win it as much as the boys in front of him. Every time I've seen him at Nassau Coliseum, just like watching it come back into the zone, you see, just like, I never see his eyes leave the puck. I never see him lose focus for 1 second to look to the left or look right or something, get position. No, he's down, he's ready. Any puck that comes towards him, he is ready to go. And especially with Sorokin, something I found interesting. I tweeted about it the other night, but during commercial breaks, he doesn't go over to the bench. He doesn't talk. He doesn't, obviously, I don't think talking's his forte, but
not in English.
He will go to the circle and just stretch his legs out. He will go and just stretch both of his legs, make sure he can get full splits, things like that. It keeps, number one, it keeps him warm. So nothing can hopefully happen to him. It's a nice way to just make sure that you're just staying warm and there's no way you can hurt your groin area because he does those cross crease splits.
Yeah.
But number two, yeah, it keeps you warm. It keeps you going for whatever plays next, because commercials suck because they stop play and you kind of have to reset. And whoever had the momentum, that's kind of gone now and you have to reset it. But Sorokin, in a way, by doing this on the side, he keeps his head in the game and he keeps it going like he's still preparing for a play that's about to happen. So I noticed that a lot about Sorokin. He's so dialed in, and I want to see much more of that. Honestly, though, he was the savior of Game 5. He's the reason we stole that game. And I give props to Josh Bailey, but he did kind of have it delivered on a silver platter. But
yes, he did.
But Sorokin was definitely, and he did get first star, but he was the savior of Game 5.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't speak enough about what Sorokin did, 40 to 50. It's just, and then you look at what Jari did, and it's like complete exact opposite. But I like your insight on that too. I actually didn't realize that between commercials and stuff. But again, once a goalie's in a zone like that, you're going to have to beat him. Nothing crappy's going to go in. Let's just say that. My dad, when it was in overtime, my dad said, a bad goal is going to win this one. And in my head, I said, okay, that could happen, but it's not going to be against Sorokin. If Sorokin was going to get beat that game, it's going to be a guy wide open in front, bar down, some crazy shot like that. But yeah, definitely. So, looking at tonight's game, unbiased opinion, you think the Islanders get it done?
Oh God, I am such a jinxer. I don't want to say.
All right, well that's fine.
Because I know if I say something, the opposite will happen tonight. So
you think the Penguins will win? Is what you're trying to say?
Yes, the Penguins will win. But yeah, no, I just
think in front of this crowd, after such a demoralizing loss for the Penguins, you played legit your best game of this series and you lose the way you lost. I don't think you could rebound from that. No pun intended at all.
That's a good point.
You can.
You definitely can. It's possible. That's why hockey's the best sport. But to lose on the road and then come home is crazy. Last question for you: who has been the Islanders' best player besides Sorokin for you in this series?
Ooh, that's a good question.
On the spot. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's difficult because honestly, this series, one player has been like, oh, thank God he's out there playing. Players that have shown up a little bit in my eyes, maybe given a little bit more effort. If I'd seen everything, you're gonna laugh. Leo Komarov is one of them.
Yeah,
and I bash Leo Komarov all the time, but he has really shown up, especially in the back check. Just making sure that puck doesn't go towards the net. Offensively. Yes, he could be better. See, that's why I'm called Stonehands Komarov.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's had some beautiful passes to the slot. He's been great defensively, getting back, making sure there's, at least one guy on the play. That's something I've noticed in the back too, is just having one man on one man, just coverage. And Leo Komarov's always there to cover. Another player would probably be Beauvillier. Beauvillier, I've always see him go 100% for each and every puck battle. Yes, so he got that one goal, but he hasn't produced over, incredibly, but his work ethic is there, and I see it on the ice, and I like that second line out because it gives me some comfort, that we're gonna at least go for it 100%. Going into third line, I hope Wallstrom's not out tonight.
He's you watch the replay. There's really, I can't see any way of him playing. But if Zajac comes in, you have the NHL, you have the trade deadline line. So the trade deadline, And
I saw your tweet about that.
I tapped myself on the back.
You see how he keeps trying to say it because he really once he gets one good one, he's got to keep using it.
I liked it. But no, I mean Zajac's a veteran. He's brought in here for depth, so this is the perfect spot. But hopefully Wallstrom's okay because that fall was nasty.
No, yeah, I just want to know he's okay. Like that's just.
Well, he's definitely okay. He's alive and breathing, and he's well. He just might not play tonight. Hopefully, he'll play next series if the Islanders do move on, and hopefully there's not a Game 7, but he'll be back in the next couple days.
Game 7's awesome, though.
Yeah, Game 7's not awesome. I don't even want to talk about that.
I heard Jari's back in net, and you know what we love to do in Nassau whenever we...
Jari chant, yeah.
See, we were talking about that before you even came on.
Really?
I can't wait to go on him.
I love that. It gets in the goalie's head, and it worked.
Oh, it definitely worked. I knew once the puck was dumped in on him, he was messing up. It was going to happen.
As a defenseman, that pissed me off because he had the easy 2-foot pass and he tries to hit the middle and just choked it.
Well, Kim, thank you so much for joining us today. I don't know what time you're heading over, but get there soon and start enjoying. Put the lipstick on and get ready.
Thanks, man. Have a great day, guys.
See you there. All right, so now...
Well, we also got the Slapshot Sweethearts that they said they're going to win tonight.
Hard to say they don't win. What does it say? Hard to say they don't with their potential last game at Nassau. I mean, yeah, you never want that to be the case. And for the Islanders on home ice, it's a must-win. You know, every game is a quote-unquote must-win, but Islanders on home ice to close out a series for the first time on home ice since 1993, it's got to get done. But Patrick Dowd joins us now, friend of the show, Isle Sign guy. How you doing today?
Man, I'm pumped up. I am as good as can be. This is like a great dream come true.
Yeah? Were you there the last time they clinched?
The Coliseum. We never thought we were going to be here. We were back in Brooklyn. We went from point A to B with an unknown destination, and now we got a chance to clinch this series in front of the fans at the Coliseum. It's going to be great.
All right, so I know you're Mr. Positive. Were you positive the whole entire game in Game 5 when the Islanders played absolutely terrible? Were you staying positive that whole time?
Well, let's just put it this way. Usually I'm pretty vocal, but I was quiet. And I'll tell you why I was quiet, because it just didn't look like it was happening. And then I thought the worst case scenario would be go back to the Coliseum. And my God, is that going to be the last game? We don't want it to happen that way.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that. So any new signs coming out today? Anything in the works you give us a sneak peek at?
Yeah, man. So we got a couple. We got the Close the Barn with the Fifth Cup, home barn advantage. There's a couple of them. Soroke King of New York. There's a couple others in there.
So last time when we spoke, when you were on the show, the Islanders had put a sign out there. No fans in the stands, just your sign. Now tonight, 9,000 people there. You will be there with your signs. What do you think the atmosphere is going to be like?
Oh, my God. You know, I got my two daughters coming. We're actually, one of them's getting them off at 2 o'clock, and the other one's getting all ready, duded up and so forth with the boyfriend. You know, I'm going to be with a bunch of friends in the Coliseum parking lot waiting for this unbelievable event. I mean, it's going to be electric from the time you even before you get to the building. The parking lot's going to be a buzz. You know, in the building, it's going to be beyond electric. It's going to be like old times. You know, you had now 9,000 people compared to, say, the 6-something last game. They're going to be fun, guys. Be a lot
so
of
were
fun.
You in attendance the last time the Islanders clinched the series on home ice? Were you there?
I was not.
You were not there?
No.
Why weren't you there?
I go to a lot of games, but, you know, I do have a life and I do have a family. So that particular game I wasn't at. Well, let me turn it back to you. So, Stephen, you had a chance to go to a game. I think your dad surprised you a little bit back, one of the first couple games during COVID. And, you know, what was it like to walk into the building thinking, I mean, is this going to be your last time you've been there, or will you go again?
Yeah, exactly. So I was actually at the Coliseum the last time, the regular season against Columbus, when that was it. And, you know, that was emotional. It was tough. And when you go back, you never know. I mean, I got to go to the playoff game a couple of days ago at the Coliseum, which I didn't expect to go to either. And I'm going again today with Brendan. And just every time you step into the Coliseum, I feel like a kid in a candy shop. Not even the game being played. You just stand and look around the atmosphere. It's like, wow. Every time it's the same exact, wow, I can't believe this. You're at an arena. And again, for everyone that hasn't been able to go and because of the pandemic or pricing, whatever, it's a luxury to get to go to these games. It's not like, oh, you get to – I mean, there's people that are fortunate enough that have season tickets, but it's tough, especially kids, college kids, don't have money and jobs and everything like that. But, no, the experience of going to a game at the Coliseum, especially when it's gone, I'll definitely appreciate it more when the Coliseum's no longer being where the Islanders play. But it's an amazing experience. And Brendan hasn't been to a playoff game at the Coliseum, and he's going today. So for him, hopefully, I know as a Ranger fan it might be a little different, but just the atmosphere of being at a playoff hockey game, and especially a Coliseum crowd, it's going to be like no other.
Yeah, and listen, just to add to that, so Brendan, you sound like you're the kind of guy that all right, you're a true Ranger fan. I get it, understand that, respect it, but I don't know what kind of atmosphere you have to get at the Garden, but you're going to go into this building tonight, and you are truly going to leave with an experience.
Nah, I know. Listen, I've been to a lot of games there, and I love it, right? I've always said that the Coliseum is one of my favorite arenas just because it's so compact. You're on top of each other. It's an awesome feeling. So I'm really excited for what it's going to be like tonight. And the Garden does have a great atmosphere during the postseason. Like, I will say the Garden is awesome, and I'm going to assume that the Coliseum is going to be right up there with it. So I'm excited for tonight.
Oh, for God's sakes. Yeah, and you guys better stop and say hi. I'll find you. Somewhere we'll bump into each other in the building. I know that for sure.
Yeah, I'll be walking around during intermission.
Yeah, definitely do the same. It's going to be great. I mean, I can't wait. Listen, this is a dream come true for Islander fans. I mean, we think about this for the longest time. We talked about going back and forth. Game 6, a chance to clinch. Think about it. A lot of guys a little bit like your age hadn't been to this kind of things in the past. This is just phenomenal. My 2 daughters just can't wait. They've never experienced something that we may experience tonight, which is a memory. I mean, let's put it this way. We talk about tickets being a little steep. These guys all shelled out about $100, $200 a piece to get tickets on their own because they're over 21. They have to do it. And they were willing to do it. So they were just like, when can we get there? I said, don't worry, guys. After I finish this right here, we'll pack up. We'll head over there. And we're going to have a great time.
Well, I won't hold you too long, but, we're hearing stories about Ledecky and what he's done inside the fan base and all that. Have you had a chance to meet him yet?
Oh, my God, on numerous occasions, actually. To be quite honest with you, numerous occasions. So John Ledecky is exactly a dream owner, or say part owner, if you will. He's the guy that I love because he's out there walking around the building, engaging with fans, finding out what they want from their experience and listening to suggestions. Most owners don't do that. They basically stay low key, and Wong did it, and I believe the Ranger management does that sort of same thing in ownership. He's just great. I mean, there was a story in the Newsday the other day. It was at Borelli's, and he just ran into a few people that are Islander fans, and basically just said, "You guys going to a playoff game, and we're getting the tickets." He does things like that. Those are acts of kindness that really mean so much to some people that it's a lifetime memory they'll never forget.
Yeah, I heard that story on the air. Carton Roberts, they talked about it as, a guy and his family went into Borelli's, said, "Oh, you enjoying your pizza?" He asked if they were going to the game. They said, one of the kids goes, "No, we're just here for the atmosphere." And Ledecky said, "What's your phone number? You're going to get a call in 5 minutes. Pick up the phone." Picks up the phone, gets free tickets to go to the game. I mean, it's just things like that where, you talk about Steve Cohen with the Mets, and he's trying to do that. But I think Ledecky has shown in New York sports that he is that owner that every owner should be like, especially, again, sometimes you don't want fans running the show.
You don't see James Dolan doing that.
James Dolan definitely doesn't do that. But sometimes you don't want fans running, taking control because then they have biased opinions on moves and deals. But Ledecky from the start has just tried to make this franchise as good as he possibly can. I think he's done that so far.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the future is so bright, it's ridiculous. You really need a pair of sunglasses because, I mean, everything's just going exactly the Islanders' way. And if they can clinch tonight, man, I mean, you talk about moving on to the next round. I really think I can get out of this conference. I mean, there's some very good elite teams on the other conferences, but this is a real test. It's been a test all year long, every single game, except for a few teams. So with Belmont on the horizon and the playoffs today, man, it's just amazing. It is amazing. I just can't wait. I'm so excited. I may not show it, but inside I am just so pumped to walk in that building and just look around and just feel the vibe.
Yeah, so obviously you've been an Islander fan for a while, and you're watching Ilya Sorokin put on an absolute clinic last game. I'm not going to say is he the greatest Islander goalie you've seen, because obviously there have been great ones, but athleticism and the skill that you're seeing from Sorokin, is it second to none from any goalie you've seen play?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's just his whole package. It's just the way he moves so smoothly. It's just effortlessly, and he just seems to have a good understanding of where to be. Hey, listen, they've been trying to get him for years. And it was just a matter of, there's a lot of different things involved here, but now we have them. And again, they made a move, and that's why they got rid of, unfortunately, with Lerner. That was a shame because, it was sort of a money issue. Same thing with Towles. Sometimes you got to do things that'll make your team better, and Sorokin is by far going to make this team better. And just think, this is a short season for him. He's only had so many times. The more he plays, the better experience he gets, the more playoff experience, the more confidence he gets. You're talking about a guy that, as I say, no pun there, Brendan, but, I think he is the king of New York, the new king of New York.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like right now he is because the Rangers aren't in the postseason, right? And I think that if Shesterkin can come to the postseason and do what Sorokin's doing, then you have a conversation. But until then, right now, Sorokin's doing what he's doing. Right now he is. I will never call him the king just because, to me, that's Lundqvist. But
that's what I like the banters, because that's good hockey talk amongst fans. And you're absolutely right about that, in all fairness, until that point comes. But for the time being, he's got the spotlight, the headline. And listen, I just, you watch him play, and he makes saves that just are so phenomenal. And they don't even say fantastic save, brilliant save. It's just a normal save. Boom, boom, boom. Now, a lot of things can happen, man. The puck can hit the post, go the wrong way. Just, tonight, Islanders just got to stay focused. They just got to play their game. With this crowd tonight, if they can get on an early lead and get that place, pumped up, it's going to be a great story ending here. Yeah, I mean, I'm just so pumped. I hope my daughters can experience this.
No, yeah, it's going to be an absolute amazing time. Well, you go pack up, get your daughters, go to the game, and we'll definitely stop by and see you there, right?
All right, sounds great, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Right,
have a good one.
Islanders.
Yes.
you're not going to get me saying it.
No, you're definitely not. You're not going to say it. So at 1:45 or around there, James Nichols, editor-in-chief of Isles Blog, will come on to close out the show. But Brendan, let's just talk a little more about Sorokin. And we talk about 48 saves on 50 shots. But the fact is, yes, his reflexes are unreal. To me, his anticipation. There's one-time saves that he's making where he's already there. And I think for goalies in the playoffs, when the game is such a quick game, but especially in the playoffs, every save is big. You never catch Sorokin cheating. Nope. He's just there.
I think that when we saw the videos of him and Shesterkin at the same time, right?
Yeah.
We all saw the athleticism. We were like, is that going to translate? Smaller surface. They have to get over even quicker because the shots are harder. And it has, right? He's just that good. And I called you during the last game and I said, listen, Sorokin looks phenomenal. The only weakness I think I see is blocker side.
Yeah.
And after that second goal, they started shooting blocker side. He adjusted and made saves, save after save, save after save, save after save. And I remember Chris Letang coming in OT, winding up for a slap shot.
Yes.
And he went blocker side because I was like, if Letang's going to shoot, he's going blocker. Shesterkin sticks it up. And at that point, I said, Islanders are winning this game. That's demoralizing because they had one weakness on him, and he closed it up. So it's fun to watch. Listen, I know I'm a Rangers fan, but I'm a hockey fan too. And when I see good players, I enjoy it. I enjoy watching Sorokin play right now. He's locked in.
And the biggest thing you said is in-game adjustments, right? Jari has not made a single in-game adjustment, and it's burned him. I mean, 13 of the Islanders' 16 goals in the series has gone glove side. I'm not getting that's not. I said this earlier in the show, but that's not saying that it's high glove. It's just glove side. Clearly a weakness, but he hasn't corrected it. Like you said, they scored on Sorokin blocker side, and then they didn't do it again.
Yeah, I mean, the main difference, though, is that Sorokin corrects it without cheating. Chari's correcting it and cheating glove, so now the Islanders have another side to shoot at. Sorokin just knows he can anticipate, and I think that that's just him having confidence in his own skill set. He knows that if the shots come in, he can adjust and make the save, similar to how Lundqvist used to stay so far back, right? He knew that he could stop any shot. He didn't have to have that angle. Jari knows that he has to cheat to make that save, and that's a big difference, a big disadvantage for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, if I'm Jari, I don't touch the puck today.
He's not leaving the net.
Yeah, he stays in his crease. If he comes out of there, he should get a penalty. But you talk about Sorokin being great, but the Islanders' defense and forwards have to do a better job of allowing less shots. 50 shots on goal. I mean, the Islanders, a Penguins team is too good for that to be the case because they should find ways to score. Islanders got very lucky last game. They did not often enough. So what do you have to see from the Islanders forwards and defenders against this? Because you know the Penguins are going to push. They're going to take shots from everywhere, but what do the Islanders have to do to limit those chances?
I honestly think it's forecheck because the Penguins last game were forechecking, and it took a toll on the Islanders' defense starting to see in the third period because the Penguins were controlling and dictating play. I think that the Islanders at home, the crowd's obviously going to get behind them. If they can start the pressure, and if you could see that fourth line start to punish the Penguins defenders as they get the puck, by the third period they'll have the legs. And I mean, if they can really establish a solid forecheck similar to what the Penguins did at home, I don't see the Islanders losing this game.
Yeah, it's about scoring first. It really is. The Islanders can't have their backs against the wall. I mean, they've shown they could come back. But if the Islanders score first, the confidence level, the emotions, they can play their Islanders brand of hockey. And I think the biggest thing is just protecting the front of the net. Yep. The Penguins love to throw pucks to the net. I mean, Islanders got lucky too. A couple of goals Clutterbuck scored a couple of games ago, just bouncing off him and in. But I think the Islanders can't rely on Sorokin tonight. They have to play for him, not let him be the star. Because if he's the star, and it's all great if the Islanders win. No one really cares how you do it. Just have to win. But if he's the star again, that's an issue because let's say they do win the series tonight. They can't rely on the goalie every game in the next series against the Bruins. Because if that is the case, the Bruins' offense is very good. They're a better team than the Penguins are. And to be honest, Sorokin's going to get tired. We saw last year. Varlamov went on an incredible shutout streak, and then once the floodgates opened, they opened, and you had Grice come in and play Game 7 and win it 4-0. So, I mean, we can go talk about that, too, until James Nichols comes on. Brendan, what do you think the likelihood of seeing Varlamov later on if the Islanders advance?
None.
You think he rides Sorokin every game?
I mean, I would. I don't think he should have played at all this series.
It's tough because you look at what Varlamov did, and I know in the back of our minds, is Varlamov 100% healthy? I don't think you're ever 100% healthy after a regular season. You're never back to that, fresh legs. But clearly Varlamov doesn't look great, and whether that's because of an injury or because of rust, whatever it is, he hasn't looked good in his 2 chances. But he was a Vezina caliber goalie this season, so do you think he deserves a right to get a game next series, or do you really think that, listen, he had his chance, it's Sorokin's crease now, until Sorokin proves he can't handle it, it's his?
I mean, the only way he gets back in is if Sorokin gets shelled, and I don't see that happening. There's no reason. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? The Islanders right now are playing well in front of Sorokin, well enough for him to see every shot, and I think that that's a big thing for him. Somebody who, as good as he is, he's not going to stop shots that he's going to stop every shot that he can see. So as long as they clear out that front, keep rolling Sorokin.
Yeah, it's tough. As a goalie myself, too. I mean, you can't, first off, if you want to talk about how good Sorokin's been, that's great. Definitely do that. But you can't discredit what Varlamov did this year. Because that's just not fair. No. Yes, he's been bad in the playoffs, but
he won fantasy for me. Great guy.
He won fantasy for Brendan. Yep, great guy. But also, the Islanders are not where they are without him. Sorokin was solid during the regular season. Sorokin also played some pretty bad teams on those stretches where Varlamov played better against the better teams. And it's just unfortunate that Varlamov didn't bring it this postseason so far. Maybe he'll get another chance. We'll see how far the Islanders' run goes. But Trotz shows that in the past, he rides the hot hand. And he's had tandems every single year. Yes, this year wasn't a tandem to start, but once Sorokin proved that, okay, he can handle the workload, it was a tandem. And I think in the NHL, besides a few teams, let's say the Lightning, who have Vasilevsky and no one else, very few teams don't have 2 stable netminders. Look at Vegas.
Yep.
They have 2 goalies in Leonard and Fleury, and Fleury's played every game. But if Fleury falls, and they have the confidence to bring Leonard in. And Trotz said today, we have confidence in both our goalies. And they should. But at the end of the day, it's Sorokin's net to lose. And you look at the Islander game tonight, and if he could win again, and he could go 4-0 in his first ever playoff series, the confidence, and he's been around the block. He's played in the KHL. He's played in big games. He won a cup. What's the cup called there?
Oh, God, the
right?
Gargarian
Cup.
That,
he's won before. Now, it's not the NHL level, but he's still won. He knows what it takes to win. And I think more important is that he's calm back there, which allows the Islanders to relax. Varlamov, bad starts in games 2 and 3. And the Islanders had their back against the wall. It was panic mode pretty much. But when Sorokin denies a couple of in-tight chances real quick, the offense knows and the defense knows, okay, we could trust Sorokin tonight. That's a trustworthy thing to do, and I think that's huge for the emotions, especially in a game like tonight where the crowd's going to be nuts and people are going to be nervous. Is Dobson play like Dobson, a rookie? If Wallstrom's back then, a rookie. Are they going to be nervous wrecks? Probably, but at the end of the day, you're just going to play hockey. And when you have a goalie back there that you're comfortable with and you trust, that lets you settle down and find your game. The Islanders didn't have a chance in game 2 or 3 to play their style of hockey.
Yep.
They didn't because they were trailing, and that's not how the Islanders are going to win.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I said to you already, I think that going to this game tonight, if the Islanders play Islanders hockey, they win. And there's really no way that Pittsburgh, after a demoralizing loss like that, is going to be able to recover if the Islanders start to dictate the pace of play. So you're going to look at a guy like a Dobson on the back end as somebody that the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to target, especially on a forecheck, to try to make him cough up the puck. And rightfully so. Adam Pellick's been an absolute stalwart on the back end this whole series. So he's not going to be a guy that's going to cough up anything or do anything to make you lose. So the Penguins are going to have to target somebody else. And if they lose this game, it's going to be because of their own mistakes. And if they win this game, it's going to be because they limited those mistakes. And there's really no way around it, right? This is an Islanders team that when they play their way at home, they win. And I fully expect them to do that tonight. And if I'm saying that, that means that they probably have the edge.
Yeah, I can't wait to see your reaction on the goals. You're going to get up there. You're going to do the yes, yes, yes chant. I'm going to make you say there's no Islanders without Anders?
I hate that so much.
Yeah, so all right. So we're going to welcome James Nichols onto the show now. And James, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, guys. What's going on? Thanks
for
having me.
Obviously, we don't know the likelihood of Wallstrom playing, but you heard from Trotz earlier. The latest is just to be determined, right? We'll see what happens at game time.
Yeah, to be determined. I've learned a long time ago not to try to predict anything with Trotz because, he says one thing and then he'll do another come game time. So I've learned to just not try to even predict these things.
Now, we know that Zajac will be in if Wallstrom is not. What does Zajac bring to this lineup? Obviously, he was acquired for depth, but what can he help this third line out? What can he do well, get the Islanders a series clincher tonight?
Experience. He's been there before lots of times with the Devils when they were a regular playoff team back in the day. Not so much lately, but he's been there plenty of times before. He knows what it takes to win, and that experience can't be replaced.
Yeah, and he does very well in the faceoff dot. Obviously, that line has Peugeot. They don't really have to worry about faceoffs, but if Peugeot gets thrown out of a faceoff, you have the faith that Zajac could win that one, defensive zone, offensive zone, whatever. But you look at a player during the regular season that took a lot of heat in Scott Mayfield. I mean, I don't know if it was deserved. You look at his stats, and he was better this year defensively than he was last year, but whatever, fans are fans. They're going to do what they got to do. But what have you seen from him this series? Because he's been very good.
Yeah, he's taken the body more to his opponents. He's gotten his sticks in the right lanes, and he's had better positioning in the defensive zone. So, there's only one goal against that I can really remember, which was I believe it was against Semyon Varlamov in Game 2, where he was just not in the right position, and instead of trying to put the body down and block the shot, instead he kind of moved out of the way, and his stick was out of position, so that shot wound up getting through, and he almost or he pretty much did screen Semyon Varlamov. So it's the positioning and the physicality for me that I've definitely noticed has been a lot better for Scott Mayfield in his own end.
I think that might have been the Crosby tip goal. It might have been one of those goals that was in.
I think it was a Carter goal. He was in the slot, and he just, it was definitely a snipe by Carter. I'm not going to take that away from him, but it was definitely something that I noticed. If he would have just put the body in front, rather than try to squeak out of the way of the goal, it could have been something that could have been avoided. But he wound up being in an awkward position where, although he didn't block the shot, he screened Varlamov, and he couldn't see where that puck was going.
Staying with the defense for a second, what have you seen from Dobbs in this series too? Obviously, the Tanev goal late in a few games ago, where Dobson deflected the puck up and Tanev made a good play. But what have you seen from the youngster really in his first big action? I know he played one game last year or two, right? But this year, though, has been his coming out year.
Yeah, he's been really good. I like that he's been so calm and collected with the puck, while also making some smart, quick decisions. He's been really good with facilitating the puck, moving the puck, and he's got a little bit of speed behind him that surprises you. So he's a good puck mover. He makes good, quick decisions with the puck. I think the Islanders lack making smart, crisp passes quickly, and he brings that element a little bit. That's why I think he's on the power play more often than not, and I think eventually you're going to see him take over that power play quarterback role for good.
Yeah, so going to the forwards now, Jordan Eberle has goals in back-to-back games, and the talk was pretty much how that line was really not effective. Komarov on the wing. Komarov does what he needs to do, but he's not an offensive juggernaut by any means, and Barzal's a facilitator, and Barzal's played better, but we haven't seen Barzal truly play to the way we know he can play. So how big is it for Barzal to see Eberle having success?
Yeah, it's important because, it makes defenders, kind of get away from Matt Barzal. But Barzal's going to be double teamed as he's been the whole series so far. So if Jordan Eberle gets going a little bit, soon that the Penguins are going to realize, okay, we can't leave Jordan Eberle open because, he's going to make plays happen himself as well. So it's important for him to continue to get going. He has had a good game the past 2 games. So that's got to continue. And like you said, Komarov is doing everything he can do with his role. And as far as his play, I'm completely fine with it. Do I love him on the first line? No. But is there any other option right now? No. So it's definitely important that Eberle continues this upward trend because it'll take the pressure off of Barzal. Going
to the goaltending, and Sorokin's been better than advertised. I mean, he's just been absolutely unreal. How much of a confidence booster is that? I mean, again, Varlamov's been great all year. He struggled in games 2 and 3, but to have a guy back there that is just it's about being calm. You talk about Dobson being calm, but having a goalie back there that's completely calm, has that changed the element of the game the Islanders are trying to play?
Yeah, it's huge. You saw at the beginning of the season when Sorokin made his first start, although it wasn't supposed to be his start. When he went in, the Islanders looked not as confident in front of him. But a couple games later, after he got a few games under his belt, you saw the confidence in him start to build and the confidence for the Islanders start to build. So it's huge. They have 2 great goaltenders right now that they can roll with on any given night. It's going to be Sorokin's net until it's not. He's going to have to put up a stinker for Varlamov to get another chance. But It really is. It's huge. They play with more confidence, with a good goaltender in net, and this is how Lou likes to make his teams. He builds from the net out. So he did what he had to do to make sure he secured 2 goaltenders for the Islanders, and this is how they play from the net out. So it's huge.
Yeah, so going to the other goaltender now, Jar, we all know about the gaffe that he had the other day, playing the puck out right to Bailey, who made no mistake. What do the Islanders have to do? I mean, they're probably already in Jari's head a little bit, but what should they be doing in this game to test him? I know glove side's been an issue, but forcing him to play the puck for me would probably be up there and dumping the pucks in and chasing them down.
Yeah, the dump and chase hasn't been, too great for them because for some reason they can't recover that puck after they dump it in. But something that they're going to have to try and do is be a little quicker on their feet to receive, get that puck back. But something they're not doing that they absolutely have to do, and this is where they miss Anders Lee, is put bodies in front of Jari. You need guys to obstruct his vision. You need someone to try to deflect the puck on net and get one by him. Glove side, has been an issue. And I'm sure, like you said, the Islanders are in his head a little bit, but they got to make it harder for him. He's clearly shaken a little bit with confidence. So if, a big body in front, even if it's Matt Martin, he did a pretty good job in the beginning of Lee's absence, standing in front of the net and swiping pucks into the net that were created on a rebound. So they need bodies in front, big bodies, throw Brock Nelson up there. He can do it. Even Leo Komarov can stand in front of Tristan Jarry because what else is he doing when they're in the offensive zone? So bodies in front are a big key for me, and keep shooting glove side.
Speaking about the fourth line of Matt Martin, have you been impressed from what you've seen from them with the physicality, the forechecking? I mean, they've had some pretty good games this series.
Yeah, a lot of people say to me, fourth line doesn't look like what they used to, and I think that it's just, maybe they're adjusting a little bit, but their physicality has definitely been up this series, and I can't say enough about Casey Cizikas. He's a whopping 70% right now in the faceoff dot. He's winning draws at a rapid rate. And I just wrote an article on this the other day. Yeah. Crosby's only winning faceoffs at a 41% rate, which he's a career 50 and over percent faceoff percentage guy. So he's really good in the dot, and Cizikas and Peugeot are making it really hard for him to win draws, and that's huge. When you win draws, you get the puck, and you see Trotz start the fourth line every game, and there's a reason for that. He wants to get the puck first. And with the slim chance with Cizikas in the dot that they don't get the puck first, they're bringing the physicality. You see Jake Gensel's getting thrown around like a rag doll out there, mostly due to Adam Pelech, but Cizikas, Clutterbuck, and Martin are also on the ice, and now you have Jake Gensel looking over his shoulder, and he's worried about taking a hit, and the result is that line is for the most part not on the score sheet. So fourth line's been huge.
So obviously, as we saw last game, we're expecting a major push from the Penguins. I mean, their backs are against the wall; it's a must-win. But also they've talked about, especially Sullivan and Malkin, that the Islanders have been the Penguins have been taking way too many penalties. Mm-hmm. In a game like today, I truly think if the Islanders keep their feet moving, they're going to get their chances because the Penguins are going to really be pushing. What do you think the Islanders have to do on their power play to at least generate more opportunities? Obviously, a couple of games ago, they scored 2 on the power play, 2 out of 5 chances. But last game, they didn't look great. Again, they didn't look great that whole game.
Yeah, this goes back to getting bodies in front of the net, and this is where I think Noah Dobson is key. Those quick, smart passes, getting defenders out of the lanes and out of position is going to be key. If someone's in front of the net and they're making smart, quick passes, they're going to score. They occasionally will show that they can do that, and then most of the time you see them just standing with the puck and trying to decide, should I go left, should I go right, which direction am I going in? They need to be smarter. They need to be faster, and they need somebody in front fighting for net for presence and obstructing Jari's view.
If Wahlstrom doesn't play, which again, it's very unlikely that he does, who do you think slots in on that second unit? Do you think Pulock finds a way to get back on the power play unit?
They'll probably put Palmieri in that bumper, or in Ovi's office. I think that he belongs there. And I think personally, I would put either Beauvillier or Nelson in that conversation as well. Bevillier's got the hot hand right now. You saw the goal he scored the other night, but he's got an underrated shot, so I think he can definitely score some goals from that angle.
Last question for you. Obviously, you talked about how Crosby he's left his mark in the series, but Islanders have done a very good job shutting down these Penguins team that has definitely a better offensive prowess than the Islanders. Would you credit that to a couple of players like a Pelech or Pulock making big plays, or is that an ultimate team effort to shut him down and the rest of the team?
Yeah, it's, Trotz says that he doesn't love to do matchups, but he has had Pelech and Pulock on the ice for the majority of Crosby's shifts. And then when you look at the lines, the third line and the fourth line have been out there against Crosby a lot as well. So it's mostly a team effort, but if we're going to highlight anybody, it's Adam Pelech and Ryan Pulock. When Adam Pelech is up against Sidney Crosby, his Corsi for percentage is like in the low 30s. And then when he's off the ice, you see Crosby's Corsi for percentage shoot all the way up. So it's definitely a team effort, but if we're going to highlight anybody, Pelech and Pulock, for the most part, have been doing a fantastic job shutting him down. Last
one, I lied. This is the last one. Trotz has talked about, especially a couple of games ago, that he's expecting more from certain players. Obviously, if the Islanders are going to win, it's going to be a team effort. But what is one player? Who is one player that you think could bring an extra gear and help this Islander team close the series out tonight?
Is there anybody else to say but Matt Barzal?
It's his birthday too.
It's his birthday. He's got only a handful of points, no goals in this series. So if anybody should be stepping up tonight in front of the home crowd, in front of 9,000 fans instead of 68, it's got to be Matt Barzal. You need your best player to be your best player, and moving forward, if you want to win a series and you want to make a deep run, your best player needs to be performing. So Matt Barzal is the guy who needs to step up tonight. Easier said than done. I do think that there are reasons for why he is performing the way he is, but if they could find a way to help him out just a little bit, he should be potting a few and dishing out a few as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining the show, James. I do appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight.
Thanks so much.
All right, guys, so puck drop, 6:30 tonight. The barn is going to be absolutely rocking. So everyone enjoyed tonight's game. I'll be there. Brendan will be there. Hopefully we'll see you guys there, and enjoy the rest of your days. And let's see if the Islanders can close it out on home ice tonight.
The Backcheck is your one-stop shop for NHL news and all things Rangers and Islanders. Thanks for sticking with us for this edition of The Backcheck. Follow the show on social media at Backcheck Pod.